So I have opened up WB quarter expense budget. It is in the Excel S3 folder, and I have saved it with a 3 and a dash at the beginning of the name. And we are going to be filling in formulas and functions for this quarterly expense forecast. And if you look, you can see these are average values for last year's quarterly expenses. And then across the top here, we have some projections as far as expense increases go. And so this is basically a 5% increase, 8% increase, 15%, and 14% increase. So we're going to be entering some formulas to project out the quarterly expense for each of the 4 quarters. And then we have totals that we will be entering in column H and down into row 14. And those totals are going to be entered using the sum function. So we're going to start in D6, which is where the result of our first calculation is going to display. And we're going to key in an equal sign. And we're going to click on last year's average quarter for advertising. That puts B6 in the cell. We're going to do an asterisk for multiplication, and then we're going to click on 1.05, and that puts a D4 in the cell. Now we're going to press enter. Now in the past, what we've done is we've clicked up on the calculation, we've grabbed the fill handle, and we've copied it down. That is going to create a problem in this particular situation, because when we copy down, the expense is going to change, and that's fine, but we do not want the target factor to change. That should always be D4. So let me fill and show you what's going to happen. Okay, and you can see that we have a bit of a problem here. Okay, so when we copied down, B6 went to B7, which was fine, but D4 changed to D5, and that is a problem. And then when we copied to the next row, we got B8, which is fine, but now D4 is displaying as D6. Okay, so that is where the problem is. We don't want D4 to change when we copy this formula down. And there is a way that we can tell Excel that we do not want that cell to change. So we're going to edit this a little. And we're going to put a $ in front of the column. And we're going to put a $ in front of the row. And when you put $ in front of the column and the row, you are using something called absolute cell referencing. And absolute cell referencing tells Excel not to change the cell reference when you copy the equation. So I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to click up on that calculation, grab the fill handle and copy it down. And you will notice that it worked now. Okay, and if we click and we look, B7 is fine, and now it's still looking at D4. And B8 is fine, and it's still looking at D4. So when you put the $ in, you are using absolute cell referencing. Now that first value doesn't have $. That is using relative addressing. And relative addressing changes, okay, when you copy. Absolute addressing, the one with the $, does not change. So we are going to do something very similar over here for quarter 2. I'm going to click on E6. I'm going to key in an equal sign. Click on advertising. Do the asterisk for multiplication. And then we're going to click on 1.08. 1.08 should not change when we copy down in the column. So we do need to get those $ in front of the E and the 4. Just so happens there is a function key called the absolute key that will put the dollar signs in. Now, for those of you with laptops, you may have to press FN while you push the function key, but it is the F4 key that you need to press. Now, the F4 key actually cycles the dollar signs. We're going to have them in front of the row and the column, but you will notice if you push it too many times, it kind of moves the dollar. So I pushed it a second time, and now the dollar's only in front of the row. If I push it a third time, the dollar's only in front of the column. And if I push it a fourth time, the dollar is removed. So the first time, you get dollars in front of both the column and the row. Second time, it's only in front of the row. Third time, only in front of the column. Fourth time, dollars are completely removed. What we want for this is dollars in front of both, and then we're going to press enter. And we're going to position over the calculation and fill down. So Q3 is going to be a similar procedure. We're going to do an equal sign. We're going to click on B6. We are going to do the asterisk for multiplication. Click on 1.15. Press the F4 key and press the enter key. And then we're going to click up on that result and fill down. And we've got one more to do, and it's the exact same procedure. Do the equal sign, click on B6, asterisk for multiplication, click on 1.14, press the F4 key, and press enter. And we're going to click up on that result and drag down. So at this point, we have all of our calculations done, and we simply need to do our totals. So we're going to go ahead and click on H6, and we'll click on Auto Sum and press enter. And then we're going to click on that result and drag down. And all of these have relative cell addressing. You'll notice there are no dollars, and that is because we do want those references to change. Now we're going to click down on D14, and we're going to go ahead and hit Auto Sum. And that looks fine, so we're going to press enter, grab the fill handle, and drag across. And the last little change they would like us to make is to change all of these numbers in this section up here, starting on D7, going all the way down through H12. That's just too many dollar signs. So for this range, they want us to change it to the comma format. Okay, and at this point, we're going to go ahead and save our changes.